The Phaistos Disc, also spelled Phaistos Disc, Phaistos Disc, is a disc of fired clay from the Minoan palace of Phaistos on the island of Crete, possibly dating to the Middle or Late Minoan Bronze Age, 2nd millennium B.C. Now, the island of Crete is part of modern Greece. The disc is about 15 centimeters, 5.9 in diameter and covered on both sides with a spiral of stamped symbols. Its purpose and meaning, and even its original geographical place of manufacture, remain disputed, making it one of the most famous mysteries of archaeology. This unique object is now on display at the Archaeological Museum of Heraklion. The disc was discovered in 1908 by the Italian archaeologist Luigi Pernier in the Minoan Palace site of Phaistos, and features 241 tokens, comprising 45 distinct signs, which were apparently made by pressing hieroglyphic seals into a disc of soft clay, in a clockwise sequence spiraling toward the center of the disc. The Phaistos Disc captured the imagination of amateur and professional archaeologists, and many attempts have been made to decipher the code behind the disc's signs. While it is not clear that it is a script, most attempted decipherments assume that it is. Most additionally assume a syllabary. Others an alphabet or logography. Attempts at decipherment are generally thought to be unlikely to succeed unless more examples of the signs are found, as it is generally agreed that there is not enough context available for a meaningful analysis. Although the Phaistos Disc is generally accepted as authentic by archaeologists, a few scholars believe that the disc is a forgery or a hoax. Discovery. The Phaistos Disc was discovered in the Minoan palace site of Phaistos, near Hieroglyphics, on the south coast of Crete. Specifically, the disc was found in the basement of Room 8 in Building 101 of a group of buildings to the northeast of the main palace. This grouping of 4 rooms also served as a formal entry into the palace complex. Italian archaeologist Luigi Pernier recovered the intact dish, about 15 centimeters, 5.9 in diameter and uniformly slightly more than 1 centimeter, 0.39 inches, in thickness. On 3 July 1908, during his excavation of the first Minoan palace, it was found in the main cell of an underground temple depository. These basement cells, only accessible from above, were neatly covered with a layer of fine plaster. Their content was poor in precious artifacts, but rich in black earth and ashes, mixed with burnt bovine bones. In the northern part of the main cell, in the same black layer, a few inches southeast of the disc in about 20 inches, 51 centimeters, above the floor, linear A tablet pH1 was also found. The site apparently collapsed as a result of an earthquake, possibly linked with the eruption of the Santorini volcano that affected large parts of the Mediterranean region during the mid-2nd millennium B.C. Authenticity. The Phaistos Disc is generally accepted as authentic by archaeologists. The assumption of authenticity is based on the excavation records by Luigi Pernier. This assumption is supported by the later discovery of the archaeologists with similar but not identical glyphs. The possibility that the disc is a 1908 forgery or hoax has been raised by 2 scholars. According to a report in the Times, the date of manufacture has never been established by thermoluminescence. In his 2008 review, Robinson does not endorse the forgery arguments, but argues that a thermoluminescence test for the Phaistos Disc is imperative. It will either confirm that new finds are worth hunting for, or it will stop scholars from wasting their effort. Quote, a gold signet ring from Knossos, the Mavrospilio ring, found in 1926, contains a linear A inscription developed in a field defined by a spiral, similar to the Phaistos Disc. A sealing found in 1955 shows the only known parallel to sign 21, the comb, of the Phaistos Disc. This is considered as evidence that the Phaistos Disc is a genuine Minoan artifact. Dating: Yves Duho, 1977, dates the disc to between 1850 B.C. and 1600 B.C. MMIII, on the basis of Luigi Pernier's report, which says that the disc was in a Middle Minoan undisturbed context. Jefferson, 1963, dates it to after 1400. LMII3, doubting the viability of Pernier's report. Louis Goddard, 1990, resigns himself to admitting that archaeologically, the disc may be dated to anywhere in Middle or Late Minoan times. MMILMIII, a period spanning most of the second millennium B.C. J. Best suggests a date in the first half of the 14th century B.C. LMIIIA, based on his dating of tablet ph1. Typography: the inscription was apparently made by pressing preformed hieroglyphic seals into the soft clay, in a clockwise sequence spiraling toward the center of the disc. It was then fired at high temperature. The unique character of the Phaistos Disc stems from the fact that the entire text was inscribed in this way, reproducing a body of text with reusable characters. The German typesetter and linguist Herbert Breckel, in his article, The Typographic Principle, in the Gutenberg Jahrbuch, argues that the Phaistos Disc is an early document of movable type printing, since it meets the essential criteria of typographic printing, that of type identity. An early clear incidence for the realization of the typographic principle is the notorious Phaistos Disc, ca. 1800 to 1600 B.C. If the disc is, as assumed, a textual representation, we are really dealing with a printed text, which fulfills all definitional criteria of the typographic principle. The spiral sequencing of the grammatical units, the fact that they are impressed in a clay disc, blind printing, and not imprinted are merely possible technological variants of textual representation. The decisive factor is that the material types are proven to be repeatedly instantiated on the clay disc. As a medieval example for the same technique, he goes on to cite the Prüfung dedicatory inscription in his work on decipherment. Benjamin Schwartz also refers to the Phaistos Disc as the first movable type in his popular science book Guns, Germs and Steel. Jared Diamond describes the disc as an example of a technological advancement that did not become widespread because it was made at the wrong time in history, and contrasts this with Gutenberg's printing press. Inscription Signs. There are 242 tokens on the disc, comprising 45 distinct signs. Many of these 45 signs represent easily identifiable everyday things. In addition to these, there is a small diagonal line that occurs underneath the final sign in a group a total of 18 times. The disc shows traces of corrections made by the scribe in several places. The 45 symbols were numbered by Arthur Evans from 01 to 45, and this numbering has become the conventional reference used by most researchers. Some symbols have been compared with linear A characters by Nam, Tim, and others. Other scholars, J. Best, S. Davis, have pointed to similar resemblances with the Anatolian hieroglyphs, or with Egyptian hieroglyphs. A. Cuny. In the table below, the character names, as given by Louis Goddard, 1995, are given in uppercase. Where other description or elaboration applies, they are given in lowercase. The frequency distribution of the Phaistos Disc signs is the 9-hap axis, i.e., occurring just once. R04, A5, 05, B3, 11, A13, 15, B8, 17, A24, 30, B27, 42, B9, 43, B4, 44, A7, of the 8 twice occurring symbols, 4, 03, 21, 28, 41, occur on side A only, 3, 09, 16, 20, on side B only, and only 1, 14, on both sides. Oblique stroke signs. There are a number of signs marked with an oblique stroke. The strokes are not imprinted but carved by hand, and are attached to the first or last sign of a word, depending on the direction of reading chosen. Their meaning is a matter of discussion. One hypothesis, supported by Evans, Duho, Olenroth and others, is that they were used to subdivide the text into paragraphs, but alternative meanings have been offered by other scholars. Directionality. Evans, at one point, published an assertion that the disc had been written, and should be read, from the center out, because it would have been easiest to place the inscription first and then size the disc to fit the text. There is general agreement that he was wrong, and Evans himself later changed his mind. The inscription was made, and should be read, from the outside in toward the center. The centers of the spirals are not in the center of the disc, and some of the symbols near the center are crowded, as though the maker was cramped for space. One pair of symbols are set top to bottom, so it is hard to tell what order they should be in, except in the cramped section. When there are overstrikes, the inner symbol overlies the outer symbol. Jean Foucault now has proposed a reconstruction of the scribe's movements, which would also require an inward direction. Yves Duho says that any outward reading may be discarded. Despite this consensus, there are still a few such attempted decipherments. See Phaistos Disc, Decipherment Claims. In addition to the question of the directionality of the text on the disc itself, different viewpoints are held as to how the Phaistos Disc characters should be displayed when transcribed into text. The disc itself probably has right-to-left directionality, like Arabic, if reading proceeds from the outside to the center. This means that the reading direction is into the faces of the people and animals, as it is in Egyptian and Anatolian. Phaistos Disc characters are shown with left-to-right directionality in this article, with the glyphs mirrored compared to their orientation on the disc, which is also the typical practice for edited Egyptian and Anatolian hieroglyphic text. Inscription text. The following is a rendering of the Phaistos Disc inscription in Unicode characters. The text will only be displayed correctly if a font that supports Unicode Phaistos Disc characters, such as Everson Mono or a Code 2001, is installed. Side A. Side B. There are 61 words, 31 on side A and 30 on side B, numbered A1 to A31 and B1 to B30. Outside to inside. Here read outside to inside. Putting the plumed head signs word initially and the strokes word finally. The shortest words are 2 symbols in length. The longest 7 symbols. The strokes are here transcribed as diagonal strokes. Slash. The transcription begins at the vertical line of 5 dots, circling the rim of the disc once. Clockwise. 13 words on A, 12 words on B, before spiraling toward the center. 18 more words on each side. There is one word final effaced sign at A8, which Goddard, 1995, 101, notes as resembling sign 3 or 20, or less probably 8 or 44. Evans considered side A as the front side, but technical arguments have since been forwarded favoring side B as the front side. The signs in the transcription below appear in left-to-right orientation, and the reader may read into the faces of the human and animal figures, as one reads Egyptian and Anatolian hieroglyphs. In numerical transcription, Side A.
021212041229240507293405021207440802120618 3112419351414141414223223839 021231802801 2801 0212 31 26 02 12 27 14 32 18 27 06 18 17 19 31 26 12 02 12 13 01 23 19 35 the 10th of March 38 02 12 27 27 35 37 21 13 01 10 03 38 Side B. 02 12 22 40 07 27 45 07 35 02 37 23 05 22 25 27 33 24 20 12 16 23 18 43 13 01 39 33 1507 1301 1822 3742 2507 24 40 3502 26 36 40 27 25 3801 29 24 24 20 35 16 14 18 29 33 01 06 35 32 39 33 02 09 27 01 29 36 07 08 29 08 13 29 45 07 22 29 36 07 08 27 34 23 25 07 18 35 07 45 07 07 23 18 24 22 29 36 07 08 09 30 39 18 07 02 06 35 23 07 29 34 23 25 45 07 The plumed head. 02 only ever occurs word initially in 13 instances, followed by the shield. 12 which in some instances also occurs word finally. 6 words occur twice each. The three-word sequence 02 27 25 10 23 18 28 01 02 12 31 26 occurs twice. A14-16, A20-22, 02 12 31 26 recurs for a third time. A19. 4 more words occur twice each. 02 12 27 27 35 37 21. A17. A29. The 10th of March 38. A28. A31. 22 29 36 07 08. B21. B26. And 29 45 07. A3. B20. Corrections. As noted above, corrections have been made, signs have been erased and other signs printed over it. Goddard. 1995, 99 to 107. Describes these corrections by word. They occur in the following words: A1. Signs 02, 12, 13, 01. A4. 29, 29, 34. Together with A5. The 2nd of December 04. A8. 12. A10. 02, 41, 19. -35. A12. 12. A16. December 31st 26. A17. 2nd 27. A29. 2nd 27. B1. 12 to 22. B3. 37. B4. 22 to 25 imprinted over the same. B10. 07. -24. -40. B13. Beside 29. Question marks indicate uncertainty about the particular sign being the result of a correction. Also, the borders of word B28 has been widened to make room for sign 02. See Duho. 1977. 34 to 35. And Goddard. 1995. 107. Rotations. The two signs 27. Hide. In word A29 are rotated 180 degrees compared with all other occurrences of this sign. Head down versus head up. This rotation might be motivated by lack of space in A29. See Duho. 1977. p. 24. Section 6A8. The rotations of the signs 29. Cat. And 31. Eagle. Have no lack of space. Defining the sign 29 in words B19, B20 and B21 as head to the right. We have head down in B29, head to the left in A3 and B15, head up in B18 and B26, head in between up and left in B13, head in between right and down in A4. Twice. The direction of the head of sign 31 is as follows. To the right in A16, up in A9 and A25, and to the left in A22. The sign 02, plumed head, in word A29 is 90 degrees rotated to the right compared with all other occurrences of this sign. This might well be due to lack of space. The word is crowded and messy. With the sign 12, shield, pushed aside, the two occurrences of sign 28, bull's leg, are not rotated compared with each other. Rather, the way this sign is shown in the literature, including Unicode, with the foot down, is rotated compared with the sign on the disc, with the foot up. If one assumes the rotations are completely randomly distributed, then the probability that they end up in only 2 or 3 signs is very small. This suggests that these rotations might be deliberate. Signs in adjacent windings. There are several occurrences on side A where the same sign is at 2 places near each other in adjacent windings of the spiral. For example, consider the plumed head, sign 02, in word A1 and the plumed head in word A14. 3 patterns of such occurrences have been identified. A computer analysis of one of them, involving most of the plumed head signs on side A, has been performed with the conclusion that the probability of this pattern being coincidental is small. The existence of the 2 other patterns further decreases the probability of coincidence. Several occurrences are caused by a correction. Also, the orientation of the signs seems to be relevant. The 2 hides, sign 27, in word A29 are upside down, with the heads pointing to the hide sign in the adjacent winding in word A23. If this is indeed not coincidental, then the inscription is not a one-dimensional text. Of course, this does not give us a decipherment. Rather, it narrows down the potential decipherments. Decipherment attempts. A great deal of speculation developed around the disk during the 20th century. The Phaistos Disc captured the imagination of amateur archaeologists. Many attempts have been made to decipher the code behind the disk's signs. Historically, almost anything has been proposed, including prayers, a narrative or an adventure story, a psalterion, a call to arms, a board game, and a geometric theorem. Some of the more fanciful interpretations of its meaning are classic examples of pseudo-archaeology. Most linguistic interpretations assume a syllabary, based on the proportion of 45 symbols in a text of 241 tokens typical for that type of script. Some assume a syllabary with interspersed logographic symbols, a property of every known syllabary of the ancient Near East. Linear B as well as cuneiform and hieroglyphic writing. There are, however, also alphabetic and purely logographical interpretations. While enthusiasts still believe the mystery can be solved, scholarly attempts at decipherment have thought to be unlikely to succeed unless more examples of the signs turn up somewhere, as it is generally thought that there is not enough context available for meaningful analysis. Any decipherment without external confirmation, such as successful comparison to other inscriptions, is unlikely to be accepted as conclusive. Origin of the script equals Cretan or foreign origin equals. There are a few main theories about the origin of the signs. For the first few decades after its discovery, most scholars argued strongly against the local origin of the artifact. Evans, 1909, 24f, wrote that, when one comes to compare the figures in detail with those of the Minoan hieroglyphic signary, very great discrepancy is observable. Out of the 45 separate signs on the Phaistos Disc, no more than 10 more or less resemble Cretan hieroglyphic forms. The human figures in their outline and costume are non-Minoan. The representation of the ship also differs from all similar designs that occur either among the hieroglyphic or the linear documents of Crete. Glotz, 1925, 381, claimed that the clay was not from Crete. Ibsen, 1929, 15, concluded that the disc was certainly from somewhere on the Aegean, because of its differences from linear A or B. Ibsen found it tempting to assume, like Evans, a non-Cretan origin for the disc. He observes, however, that since linear A was a common Aegean script, such an assumption will not resolve the problem of multiplicity. The archaeologists and other finds have made Cretan origin more popular. Female images with pendulous breasts have also been found at Milea and Phaistos. Godart, 1995, 125. Duho asserts the Cretan provenance of the disc. In his review of current research, Trauth, 1990, 154, concludes that Crete as the source of the disc can no longer be called into question. Andrew Robinson, 2008, in a review in Nature, wrote, most scholars today, including Duho, think it a plausible working hypothesis that the disc was made in Crete. Quote, equals original invention or derivation, equals. Ibsen, 1929, 11, also speaks against an entirely independent origin of the scripts, arguing that its inventors did not leap from no knowledge of writing to a syllabic script with these elegant signs. He goes on to cite hieroglyphic Luwin as a perfect parallel. Ibsen, 1929, 17, of an original script inspired under the direct influence of other scripts. Its symbol values inspired by cuneiform. Its shapes by Egyptian hieroglyphs. Schwartz, 1956, 108. Asserts a genetic relationship between the Phaistos Disc script and the Cretan linear scripts. Among the known scripts, there are three main candidates for being related to the disc's script, all of them partly syllabic, partly logographic: linear A, Anatolian hieroglyphs and Egyptian hieroglyphs.
More remote possibilities are comparison with the Phoenician abjad or the Byblos syllabary. Linear A equals. Some signs are close enough to both linear A and linear B that a few scholars believe that they may have the same phonetic values, as 12 equals QE, 43 equals TA2, or 31 equals Ku. But this opinion is not shared by all specialists of the Aegean scripts. A recent systematic comparison with linear A is that of Torsten Tim, 2004. Based on the linear A character distribution patterns collected by Fouquetti, Tim concludes that the language of the Dusk inscription is the same as the language of linear A. Tim identifies 20 of the 45 characters with linear signs, assigning linear B phonetic values to 16. Anatolian Hieroglyphs equals. Arkteberg al. 2004. Present a systematic comparison with Anatolian hieroglyphs, resulting in a full decipherment claim. See below. In particular, they consider the stroke symbol cognate to the Luwian R.A.I. symbol, but assign it the value T. The stroke on A3 is identified as the personal name determinative. O1 is compared to the logogram SARU, a walking man or walking legs in Luwian. O2 is compared to word initial A2, a head with a crown in Luwian. The O11 is identified as the logogram Sol Suus, the winged sun known from Luwian royal seals. The shield 12 is compared to the near-identical Luwian logogram Turpi bread, and assigned the value 2. 39 they read as the thunderbolt logogram of Tahunt. In Luwian a W-shaped hieroglyph. List of decipherment claims. The decipherment claims listed are categorized into linguistic decipherments, identifying the language of the inscription, and non-linguistic decipherments. A purely logographical reading is not linguistic in the strict sense. While it may reveal the meaning of the inscription, it will not allow for the identification of the underlying language. Linguistic equals. George H. E. MPL. 1911. Interpretation as Ionic Greek. Syllabic writing. Aside first. Reading inward. Florence Stall. 1911. Interpretation as Homeric Greek. Syllabic writing. B-side first. Reading inward. Albert Cuny. 1914. Interpretation as an ancient Egyptian document. Syllabic logographic writing. Benjamin Schwartz. 1959. Interpretation as Mycenaean Greek. Syllabic writing. Comparison to Linear B. Aside first. Reading inward. Jean Faucunau. 1975. Interpretation as Proto-Ionic Greek. Syllabic writing. 1. Aside first. Reading inward. Vladimir I. Georgie F. 1976. Interpretation as Hittite language. Syllabic writing. Aside first. Reading outward. Stephen R. Fisher. 1988. Interpretation as a Greek dialect. Syllabic writing. Aside first. Reading inward. K. Utton. 1992. Interpretation as a Semitic language. Syllabic writing. Aside first. Reading outward. Roth. 1996. Interpretation as a Greek dialect. Alphabetic writing. Aside first. Reading outward. Numerous homophonic signs. Adam Martin. 2000. Interpretation as a Greek Minoan bilingual text. Alphabetic writing. Reading outward. Side A as Greek. Side B as Minoan. Arkteberg al. 2004. Interpreted as Luwian. Aside first. Reading inward. Torsten Tim. 2005. Syllabic writing. Comparison to Linear A. 2. B-side first. Reading inward. Gareth Allen Owens. 2007. Interpretation as Indo-European. Syllabic writing. Comparison to Linear A. 3. Aside first. Reading inward.
equals non-linguistic or logographic equals Paolo Bellotta, 1974. Interpretation as logographic writing. Leon Pomerantz, 1976. Interpretation as astronomical document. Peter Aleph, 1982. Interpretation as ancient gameboard. 4. Ole Hagen, 1988. Interpretation as calendar. Harold Harmon, 1990. Interpretation as logographic writing. Bernd Schomburg, 1997. Calendar interpretation. Logograms. Patrick Burlingame, 2010. Interpretation as the mythical labyrinth. Hermann Wenzel, 1998. Astronomical interpretation. Alan Butler, 1999. Interpretation as calendar. Friedhelm Will, 2000. Interpretation as number philosophically document of Atlantean origin. Axel Hausmann, 2002. Document from Atlantis. Dated to 4400 B.C. Logographic reading. L.N. Whitaker, 2005. A votive miniature version of a game board similar to the Egyptian men. Wolfgang Reichko, 2009. Interpretation as sun eclipse information and dating. Comparison with other scripts. Unicode. A set of 46 Phaistos Disc characters, comprising 45 signs and one combining oblique stroke, have been encoded in Unicode since April 2008. Unicode version 5.1. They are assigned to the range 101D0101FF in plane 1. The supplementary multilingual plane, Phaistos Disc characters were encoded with strong left-to-right directionality, and so encode charts and text, such as elsewhere on this page. The glyphs are mirrored from the way they appear on the disc itself. Modern use. Side A of the Phaistos Disc is used as the logo of Forth, one of the largest research centers in Greece. See also Archaeologics. Cretan hieroglyphs. Linear A. References. Further reading. General. Ballistia. Thomas. The Phaistos Disc, an account of its unsolved mystery. Verlag Thomas Ballistia. 2000. Bennett. Emmett L. 1996. Aegean Scripts. In the World's Writing Systems. Peter T. Daniels and William Bright. eds. Oxford University Press. ISBN 0-19-507993-0. Chadwick, John. The Decipherment of Linear B. Cambridge University Press. 1958. Duho, Eve. Le Disque de Phaistos. Leuven. 1977. Duho, Eve. How Not to Decipher the Phaistos Disc. American Journal of Archaeology. Volume 104. No. 3. 2000. pp. 597-600. Evans, A. J. Scripta Minoa. The Written Documents of Minoan Crete. With special reference to the archives of Knossos. Classic Books. 1909. ISBN 0-7426-40005-1. Faure, P. Torn Disc. L'Enigme du Disque de Phaistos. Notre Histoire en Degree 213. October 2003. PDF 0.7 megabits. Gower, Albertine. 1984. A History of Writing. Charles Scribner's Sons. Glotz. Gustav. Marriott Rostoby. E. M. Riley. The Aegean Civilization. A. Knopf. 1925. Goddard. Lewis. The Phaistos Disc. The Enigma of an Aegean Script. ITANOS Publications. 1995. Kober, Alice. The Minoan Scripts. Facts and Theory. American Journal of Archaeology. Volume 52. No. 1. 1948. pp. 82-103. Robinson, Andrew. 2008. The Phaistos Code. Right only. Nature. 453. 7198. 990 to 991. Bibcode. 2008 Nature. 453. 990R. DOI. 10.1038 453,990th say. PMID 18,563,139. Sornag, Carl. 2006. The Ultimate Assessment. Grayser Linguistische Studien. 65. 151 to 155. Tim. Torsten. 2004. Der Discos von Phaistos, Anmerkungen zur Deutung und Textstruktur. In der Germanisch Forschungen. 109. 204 to 231. PDF 0.5 megabytes. Troth. Michael. The Phaistos Disc and the Devil's Advocate. On the Aporeas of an Ancient Topic of Research. 1990. Glottometrica 12. pp. 151 to 173. International Phaistos Disc Conference 2008. Sponsored by Minerva Magazine. Abstracts. Attempted decipherments. This list contains offline accounts of various decipherments. Arten. K. Gell. Der Discos von Phaistos. Die beschriftete Bronzaxt. Die Inschrift der Tarragoner Tafel, in die Minuanische Schrift. Sprachentext Volume 1. Wiesbaden. Harrisowitz. 1992. ISBN 3-447-03273-1. Artberg. Winfried. Best. Jan. Enzeler. Kies. Rietveld. Leah. Wodhausen. Fred. The Phaistos Disc. A Lewin Letter to Nesty. Publications of the Henry Frankfurt Foundation Volume 13. Dutch Archaeological and Historical Society. Amsterdam 2004. Ballistia. Thomas. The Phaistos Disc, An Account of Its Unsolved Mystery. Verlag Thomas Ballistia. 2000. As above. Describes Arten's and Olinroth's decipherments. Efron. Henry D. 1962. Tharso and IAON. The Phaistos Disc. Harvard Studies in Classical Philology. Volume 66. 1962. pp. 1 to 91. JSTORURL. Fauconau. Jean. Le Decipherment du Disque de Phaistos and les Proto-Ions. Histoire d'un Papal oublié. Paris 1999 and 2001. Fisher. Stephen R. Evidence for Hellenic Dialect in the Phaistos Disc. Herbert Lang. 1988. ISBN 3-261-03703-2. Gordon. F. G. 1931. Through Basque to Minoan. Transliterations and Translations of the Minoan Tablets. London. Oxford University Press. Hausmann. Axel. Der Discus von Phaistos. Ein Dokument aus Atlantis. Bod GmbH. 2002. ISBN 3-8311-4548-2. HEMPL. George. The Solving of an Ancient Riddle. Ionic Greek Before Homer. Harper's Monthly Magazine. Volume 122. No. 728. January 1911. 187 to 198. Martin. Adam. Der Discos von Phaistos, einst Weissbrachiges Dokument geschrieben in einer frühgriechischen Alphabetschrift. Ludwigauer Verlag. 2000. ISBN 3-9807169-1-0. Olenroth. Dirk. Das Arbeiten des Leichischen und der Hein der Elia. Zum Discos von Phaistos und zur frühen griechischen Schriftkultur. M. Niemeyer. 1996. ISBN 3-484-80008-9. Polyganarchies. Omicron Delta Iota Sigma Kappa Omicron Sigma Tau Eta Sigma Phi Alpha Iota Sigma Tau Omicron Upsilon Mu Iota Lambda Alpha Epsilon Iota Epsilon Lambda Lambda Eta Nu Iota Kappa Alpha. The Phaistos Disc speaks in Greek. Georgiades. Athens. 2000. Pomerantz. Leon. The Phaistos Disc. An interpretation of astronomical symbols. Paul Astrom's Forlag. Göteborg. 1976. Reviewed by D. H. Kelly in the Journal of Archaeoastronomy. Volume 2. Number 3. Summer 1979. Reichko. Wolfgang. Analyzing and dating the structure of the Phaistos Disc. Archaeological and Anthropological Sciences. 2009. 6. DOI. 10.1007 per seconds 1252000900152. Schwartz. Benjamin. The Phaistos Disc. Journal of Near Eastern Studies. Volume 18. No. 2. 1959. 105-112. Stahl. F. Malian. April 1911. An interpretation of the Phaistos Disc. The Burlington Magazine for Connoisseurs. 19. Volume 19. No. 97. April 1911. 23-29. 32-38. JSTOR 858643. JSTOR URL. Whitaker, Ellen. Social and Symbolic Aspects of Minoan Writing. European Journal of Archaeology 8. 1. 29-41. 2005. DOI. 10.1177 1,461,957,105,058,207. External links. Findings from the archaeological site of Phaistos. Phaistos. Crete. Retrieved 4 May 2012. Svoronos. Anthony P. Information about the efforts to decipher the Phaistos Disc. Otonet. Gr. Retrieved 4 May 2012. Everson. Michael. Jenkins. John. 1 April 2006. Proposal for encoding the Phaistos Disc characters in the SMP of the UCS. PDF. DKUUG. Dansk Unix System Brugergruppe, Danish Unix Systems User Group. Owens. Gareth Allen. 2008-2012. The Phaistos Disc and Related Inscriptions. TEI of Crete, Daedalica.